Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to another Lunch with Lisa. I'm Lisa Warner. I'm the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. It's a book I wrote after I healed myself from cancer by doing nothing other than shifting my consciousness, changing the way I looked at what was happening to my body, and then trusting the divine design. The body is designed to heal itself. Today, I wanted to talk about a cure for cancer and other diseases. Because, yes, there is a cure. I am living proof. There are many others as well. I am not the only one. I am not unique in any way, shape, or form as far as that's concerned. But it takes a shift of consciousness. The cure is not going to be found in a pill. It's not going to be found in a lab. Hey, how many decades have they been trying to look for one? To no avail, right? They're looking in the wrong place. The cure is to actually understand why the body does what it does, and to understand the divine design. Our bodies are designed by Creator itself in divine perfection. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves. However, when we don't understand that and we believe that we are being attacked by some killer disease, our consciousness then tends to make that happen. Our reality is being generated from our consciousness, which means that it is being generated from our beliefs. We have been taught diseased. We have been taught that when something seems to go wrong with our bodies, that our bodies are malfunctioning or that our bodies are being attacked. This is never true. And I'll tell you why. Because our bodies are designed to help us in every single moment. Our bodies are designed to help us through challenging situations. Every time something catches us off guard, makes us lose our balance in life, traumas, dramas, setbacks, unexpected events, anything that throws us off balance, our bodies automatically spring into action to help us, which means that our bodies change form. They do it quietly in the background. They're increasing the number of cells or decreasing the number of cells as will be appropriate for the situation. Maybe there's a neurological change, like a weakness in a muscle. These are all meaningful. These are all the ways in which our bodies help us. For instance, if we get into a really a sticky situation where like we feel like we've been backed into a corner with no way out, somebody's coming at us and we don't know what else to do, we feel like we're stuck, the body will literally start to play possum. in the face of this predator. So a possum will flip over and fall down dead in the face of a predator. When it's so scared and doesn't see a way out, it'll just play dead. Well, our bodies have the same response system in a similar situation. So we may start feeling a muscle weakness. That would be an example of a neurological change. If we are, if if we're facing a stinky situation, like it might be, they're literally spraying manure on a field, it's like, ooh, I don't want to breathe, ew. Or just a situation in our life, it's like, oh, this really stinks. This isn't a good situation. The nasal passages may start diminishing the number of cells and the reason would be to start opening the nasal passages so that when you breathe, you can inhale more oxygen in one breath so that you can breathe fewer times to have to endure the stink of the situation. That would be an example of diminishing the number of cells, decreasing cells, taking cells away, adding to cells. If we feel that our life is being threatened, maybe we've received a diagnosis of, killer disease, and we believe that there's a possibility that we could die, or maybe our partner or a really good friend or family member has received something like that, or been in an accident, or and we believe that either we or they might die, and we worry about that. Well, our lungs are the organ in the body that breathes the breath of life. If something might be threatening our ability to breathe the breath of life, our lungs will start adding cells. They'll start creating extra cells so that we can take in more oxygen and breathe easier. This would be an instance of creating extra cells, which could be called a tumor. And all of these things, when looked through the lens of the medical model, are terrible problems. These are like, oh my God, you're being attacked by some killer disease. This is not the case. When the threat is over, like during the time that we're in this crisis situation, whatever it is, the body is silently in the background performing these tasks to help us through the conflict. When the conflict is over, it's like, whew, phew, okay, we're good to go. We come to a resolution. Now the body doesn't need to keep doing whatever it was doing to help us. So if it was playing dead and we had a muscle weakness, just like the possum, when the predator goes away, the coast is clear, the possum gets up and it shakes itself back to life. This would be a muscle tremor. When the stinky situation is over, whatever the stinky situation was, now the nasal passages need to build back up the cells that they took away. And what does that look like? It looks like mucus. Looks like a stuffy nose. Like, oh my God, I'm getting a cold. Your body is now healing. In the case of the lungs, once the death fright is over, like, oh, phew, we can breathe easier again. The body no longer needs those extra cells that it's been building up in the lungs. So now it needs to get rid of those cells. Fever, coughing, congestion, pain. These are things that are looked upon as bad. And when we look upon these things as bad, well, they become that because it happens as we perceive, as we believe. When we believe that those extra cells in our lungs are signs that we're being attacked by a killer disease, we do all kinds of things to try to battle the disease, but the disease doesn't exist. It's not what's happening to our bodies. It's incredibly important to start to understand this. This is not just me making stuff up. The 5 biological laws of how all biology works, whether you're a tree, a blade of grass, a fish, a bird, a deer, a bear, a zebra, a human, all biology is governed by the biological laws, by the divine design. But we're not taught the divine design. We're not taught about the biological laws. Doctors are not taught about the biological laws. Why? Because the biological laws tell us that our bodies are designed to heal themselves automatically, naturally, organically. No pills, no treatments necessary. And if we just simply follow that logic, we can see why people are not taught this, why the medical industry is not keen on divulging this information. It's up to each one of us to learn this for ourselves. It's up to each one of us to learn the divine design of who we are as grand beings of light, as souls. We are created in the image and likeness of the Creator. We are creators. By nature, it is our divine design. And we create what we focus on, what we project outwards gets reflected back to us. So if we are believing in disease, then that's what we are projecting outward. And that's what gets reflected back. The symptoms of disease and healing are exactly the same. If your lungs have created extra cells that your body now no longer needs because it protected you through whatever the death fright was, wherever you were scared of dying, or if the family loved one passes away, well, that's the resolution. There's nothing left to worry about. It's sad, but it does resolve the conflict. This is how Dr. Rickgerd Hammer discovered the 5 biological laws back in 1980. He received a phone call in the middle of the night that his teenage son had been shot and wounded. And for 3 months, that son fought for his life and then finally succumbed. He passed away. His name was Dirk. Dr. Hammer was an oncologist. He was a healthy, fit German man who knew all about cancer. 3 months after his son passed away, he came down with testicular cancer and his wife came down with breast cancer simultaneously. Dr. Hammer thought, I where did this come from? Like, how could this possibly be? Like, there has to be a connection between the loss of our son and the two of us having cancer simultaneously. So he went to the men that were in his practice who had been diagnosed with testicular cancer and he asked them, what was happening in your life before you got diagnosed? Every single one of them had faced the loss of a loved one or a child, excuse me, like straight up loss of a child. It's like, that can't be a coincidence. So he took brain scans of these people and he found that there was a specific spot on the brain that you could see on the CAT scan. So he started to meticulously map out all of the different spots on the brain. He mapped out the 3 layers of the brain, the old brain, the midbrain, the new brain. And then he started to map out which part of the brain controlled which part of the body. And then he started to recognize that all of the right-handed women who had breast cancer in their left breast had faced a similar conflict. And if they were left-handed, it would have been in their right breast. It's like the body is super specific on how it responds to our patterns, our thought patterns, our crises. So the 5 biological laws of why the body does what it does and the brilliance of these bodies were discovered way back over 40 years ago. And it's up to us to start to understand this. I discovered this myself when I found myself facing cancer. I didn't have any interest in going the medical route. Chemotherapy to me, it seemed barbaric. It was scary. I didn't want to do it. And when I really took stock of my body, like, what do I actually know about my body? And I started to notice that every time I had a cut, a bruise, a break, a sprain, yeah, a burn, a blister, my body always healed itself. A cold, a flu, the mumps, chickenpox. My body always healed itself. So I figured, why, if it heals from all of those things, why wouldn't it rebalance itself? If I bring myself back into balance, it was completely clear to me that my emotional state was affecting my physical state. So instead of trying to fix it with the standard procedures, I decided to fix my emotional state. And as I fixed my emotional state, things got really pretty intense and pretty uncomfortable. But at the same time, I sat in the question, what do I need to know about this in order for things to change? And the more I sat in that question, finally, the answer arrived. And it was plain as day. Hey, Lisa, your body's not being attacked by some killer disease. Your body is responding to the emotional input you're providing. And I knew instantly that that was true. And I knew instantly that cancer is the illusion, that disease is not what's happening to any of our bodies. I didn't know what to do with the information at the time because I certainly wasn't going to be the one to do the research. So I just wrote this book from all the consciousness that I used to heal myself. It wasn't until a year or two later that I learned about Dr. Hammer and his brilliant discoveries. And I instantly knew, oh my gosh, he already did the research. He confirmed what I learned just intuitively by myself. So the cure for any disease is to see that it's not a disease at all. To see that the disease is a meaningful biological process that your body has been going through to help you. This is a 180-degree shift of perspective from the current medical mindset. Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Two people can be standing on either side of a building, on opposite sides of a building. One person could be seeing a whole beautiful glass facade, and the other person could be seeing a brick wall. And if you ask each of them to describe the building they're looking at, you will hear two completely different scenarios, but they're both looking at the same building. The physical symptoms that we are looking at, we can see them as the brick wall of disease, or we can see the beautiful glass facade of healing. Which do you want to look at? The one you look at is the one you will see. The one you look at is the one you will experience. Both are equally available experiences. One is far more enjoyable than the other one, but it's up to you. All I can do is share what I learned and what I understand of German New Medicine or Germanic healing knowledge, the 5 biological laws that Dr. Hammer thoroughly researched. The research is, the evidence is irrefutable. He discovered the divine design of our biology. The current model is not based on a divine design. The entire society that we live in, none of it is based on the sacredness of our divine design. It is based on keeping us in cages, keeping us contorted and controlled. The, the thought processes that we're taught are backwards. So this leaves us in a bit of a dilemma. Well, not really, but what are you going to do? Are you willing to see that your body is functioning perfectly? Are you willing to let go of the idea that you're being attacked by some killer disease, or that there's something wrong with you, or that you have a chronic issue, or that you have something that was passed down to you? The the issues, the conditions can be passed down to you. You can experience the same conflict that your ancestors experienced, because you now get the opportunity to break the pattern. But it's not that your body is malfunctioning. Are you willing to see that? Everything is coming from our consciousness. Healing requires a shift of consciousness. The cure is in a shift of consciousness, a shift of perspective, walking around to the other side of the building to see from a completely opposite perspective. Are you willing? If so, this is a great place to start. The Simplicity of Self Healing. You can find it on Amazon or any of your um, bookstore, major bookseller stores. So, and if I can help you shift your consciousness so that you can see your own divine design, please feel free to reach out. My website is connectingyoutoyou.com. I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, please share. Subscribe to my channel. Like my video. The more interaction we get, the more it will be shown. So I do hope this was helpful. We're here to help. We are here to create a whole new earth. We are here to bring everything back into harmony with the divine design so that we can all live and thrive together as one humanity. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, create for yourselves a great day because you can. Bye for now.